Good morning, friends. I'm doing a review on a 4.7 inch Tingy mobile. I'll just turn her on there, unlock. Now, comments. The screen is really good. It's a AMOLED, AMOLED, and it's beautiful inside. Out in the sun it sometimes struggles a little bit, but for me it's the best screen that I've ever used. Most of the other LCDs just don't have come anywhere near this one. It's capacitive, which means that as you move your fingers across the screen it responds very well, and you can pinch and zoom with it. It comes with a couple of cases. There's a standard back, just a back piece there, or there's this one here which I prefer, which is a back piece with a leather type cover to protect the screen. It's quite a smart idea, works well, and got a little slot for letting the ringer come through. As far as the earpiece ringer, when you're using it as a phone, the quality of the call outgoing is apparently reasonably well, people receiving, but when you're listening to somebody it sounds like they're talking through a tin can. Not so great. Okay, the earphones that come with it look reasonably good, but they are junk. They also sound like listening through a tin can compared to some of the others that I have here. The quality of build is, materials and that is very, very good, but the quality control is, with this particular one, very, very poor. The memory is meant to be, and it was bought as a 4GB ROM, but I would expect that all of them are the same as this, with only 2GB ROM, which means that you really do have to buy yourself a external SD card to go with it. The operational memory is 512 megabytes, which is fine for Android 4.1, which is what this is, and that's pretty well it. As far as the button functions, there's a side button here which is the power on off, and a volume one over here, and you can do I found you can do a screen copy by pressing both at the same time. This here is a sort of like a home button, I guess you'd say, and you've got two LED not pressure sensitive, but sensitive buttons. That's backwards, and that's menu button there. I'll just turn the screen off there by pressing the power. Battery life is, I've found when I've been using it, because I use it flat out all day long, it lasts for a day, and the next morning it sort of needs a charge. But if you were using it perhaps without looking at the screen so often, I'd expect you'd get about 2 days or 3 days out of it. What you'd expect from a high performance mobile, the MTK6577, I think it is a very fast processor, which of course means that the battery has to work a little bit harder. Functionally, menus pop up and everything happens great. Now let's get on to this particular phone. When you receive it, unless Tingy, the company, changed the way they do things, there are several Chinese programs which probably shouldn't be a problem, but in actual fact are. This one here is in the system itself. By doing some adjustments you can stop it from bringing, this is a battery program, but of course it's useless to us Europeans because it's in Mandarin Chinese. and it's invasive because it's in the system, and you have to stop it from working before you can replace it with the English version, which is around and it's free. I really don't know why they do that. There's about 5 different programs which are there in Chinese. They're of no use to the Europeans, and if you're lucky you can uninstall some of them, and the rest of them you have to disable them. I won't go into that here. Now let's see what else we got to say. Right, now very important is how well the radio performs. Also very important is how good the quality control is. And when I received this brand new out of the box, it had I don't know if you can see it, but there is a mark on the case there, which means it's not pristine, and it should have been picked up in quality control because it's quite obvious. But you know, I could live with that, but even so, it shouldn't happen. So quality control also comes through all the way with this phone. Basically, it should be a spot-on unit. Now the phone itself, you may or may not be able to see this, but this is in the office, and this is the Tingy phone here with no signal whatsoever, and with just a old Sony Ericsson phone which is not super sensitive. I've compared it against other phones. I'm getting 3 bars and a reasonable signal I could call out and receive without any problems on the Sony Ericsson, whereas with this I couldn't do anything at this particular stage. So this one here, quality control on the receiver is poor, and we can't really use it that well. So put that aside there. Now I bought it as a GPS because it was going to go in our car, and it's got a GPS iGo Maps program on board, but I can't use the GPS because the quality control once again has let it down. GPS is working, but the sensitivity is abysmal, only getting 2 satellites. You need a minimum of 3, compared to, this is in exactly the same location. My oh, hang on, I can't see it so well, sorry about that. My other unit, I'll zoom out, that's probably better. Yeah, my other GPS, which is pretty old, nothing flash about it, has got 8 satellites, and no problem getting the satellites. This one here took, I don't know, 3 maybe 5 minutes to just bring up 2 satellites, and of course you can't do anything. Now the other thing is, this is quality control. The GPS is working. It should have been tested properly, not just on a test unit, but if they'd tested it thoroughly, they would have found that it's below spec, and they would have thrown out the GPS module and replaced it with a working one. But they can't be bothered, which is good for the Europeans, eh? European phone manufacturers, I should say. Also, the Wi-Fi on it is just up to the same level as the other bad quality control bits. There's Wi-Fi 10 meters away from the modem. Now I've got other Chinese tablets and so on, and the Wi-Fi works fine. This one here, quality controls, hasn't been checked properly. They've said it works, that's good enough for us, we'll put it out the door. But on one dot, 10 meters away, you're not getting good Wi-Fi. If you go into 15 or 20 meters away, you can't use the Wi-Fi. Anything else? Yes. I'll bring it into focus again. Here's where the front camera is. Quality control in the factory. The camera lens is over here somewhere. It's away from the aperture, which means that when you use the front camera, you're only getting just a hair's width of the picture, and in fact the front camera's faulty. You can't use it at all. The rear camera is claimed as an 8 megapixel. I think it's a 5 megapixel enhanced. It's not really a great camera, and certainly not up to the standard of the Samsung camera. But you know, you're talking about a reasonably low cost substitute for probably a Samsung Galaxy. So you know, you've got to expect there's compromises, and I've got no problem with the cameras, but as far as these quality control issues, I do have a problem with them. Okay, so that's pretty well the summary on the Tingy 4.7 inch screen. Excellent screen. Quality control is no good. So if quality control had been good, everything had functioned properly, I'd give it that. But on this particular product, I give it that. And also we're waiting for the supplier to come to the ballpark and give me a refund on it, which means I've got to send it back to China. So I'll make comments below the video as to how that turned out. So thanks very much for watching, and just be careful when you buy products from China, because they just sometimes don't give you what you're expecting. And if you are buying them, make sure that you buy them from a reputable dealer. God bless you, and I hope this has been of value to you. Bye.